Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole Johnson with the FOXG1 Research Foundation, and I'm joined here with Ryan Phillips and Nasha Fitter, who we are all three on the board of the FOXG1 Research Foundation, and we just want to bring you into our conversation. We talk every day, and we're so excited every day of everything we have going on, and we thought, hey, let's just open up this conversation to everybody because we want you all to know how excited we are on this journey to a cure for FOXG1 syndrome. So inside our board meetings and our daily conversations, so what could we talk about first? What I would really like to start with is research, right? And something you said, Nasha, and I really love this line, is like, we are tackling every angle of science to try to find a cure or really to find disease modifying therapies for FOXG1 syndrome. So let's just talk about all these different angles we're looking at and what's new.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have a platform approach. So most of our children are going to have multiple treatments in their lives. And, some things that I've seen on some of the Facebook messaging is, I don't want to change my child. And that's not actually what we're trying to do. We're truly trying to look at some of the symptoms that affect their lives, that don't let our children live their lives to their highest potentials. Seizures, Parkinsonian-like dystonia, all of these things really inhibit our children. So we are looking at a whole host of different therapies. The simplest one are small molecule therapies. Some of you may have seen the picture that we posted on our zebrafish screen that is happening right now at King's College in England. That is super exciting, looking at we're going to be able to pump 10,000 different drugs, FDA approved drugs, into these zebrafish and see what is the impact. These are FOXG1 zebrafish. So something like that is super simple, will give us something that could help our children. And we're really excited about that.
And we've identified some potential drugs already, right?
We have,
That's exciting. Yeah. So, I mean, we've identified drugs that might actually help our children. Like that's, when we started this foundation in 2017, to know that we could even say that.
I know. And it took us a while. I mean, to test a drug, you have to create the model to test it on. So we had to create the FOXG1 zebrafish and the FOXG1 mouse models. And we ask parents all the time, donate your skin samples. It's so critical because then we create these induced pluripotent stem cell lines, they're called, that we, again, test drugs on. So it took us time to create these assets. And now we can test drugs on these assets and see what could work. So yeah, it's been an exciting journey.
So testing drugs, testing already approved drugs, that's one angle of science that we're looking at. So what's another angle of science that we're looking at to find treatments for our kids?
Well, one of the ones where, when we think about science, there's all these, our FOXG1 is a genetic condition, right? So all of our children have an issue at the genetic level. There's something missing in their gene or broken in their gene, but it doesn't mean we necessarily have to fix the gene. There's other things we can do. So one of the big kind of waves in science right now is RNA-based therapies, which are not at the DNA level, it's at the RNA level, which is a lot safer. And we're looking at a couple different treatments in this area. And I'd love to bring Ryan on here because he has really helped spearhead it, our antisense oligonucleotide approach, ASOs also called. And so Ryan, why don't you just talk about some of the conversations we're having there, which are really exciting.
Yeah. So I also want to say that I think it's really exciting how we're diversifying across all of these different modalities. Some of these therapeutics, like repurposing an existing FDA drug, can help now. Others that we're investing in, maybe, I know CRISPR is a hot topic, or gene therapy. Those are longer term solutions that we're also investing in. So we really have these kind of immediate term goals and then these longer term goals that we're hoping will pay dividends and assist our children throughout their lives. So I think it's really great how we're taking this holistic approach across the timelines of developing these, therapeutics. Regarding ASOs, that's, kind of the hot topic right now, and a way we think we can get into the clinic quickly with an effective drug. So modulating the expression of the FOXG1, increasing the protein with an antisense script is really exciting. It's being done in a lot of other genetic conditions, and there's been success in the clinic with those. So we're super excited about that potential for FOXG1.
Great.
Yeah, and it's No, it's nice to have a drug that's already, or an approach, a technology that's already worked on another genetic condition, because it's already passed a lot of safety tests. So, when you're talking about like getting to the clinic, I think maybe some of our parents may be confused by what that means. That just means that our ability to test it on our kids, we don't have to go through years and years and years of safety testing. We already know it's safe. Now we just have to see, like, can it help our kids?
Right. Yeah, so ASOs, RNA therapy is of course such a hot topic because of COVID. That's COVID really brought a lot of buzzwords to the, household.
No.
So yeah, and gene therapy. So we're looking, thankfully we have a different gene therapy approaches in the works as well.
Yep. And we're lucky
Aisha.
we have a company looking at a gene therapy. We are also very soon to announce a major lab that has been working on gene therapy for FOXG1 for, over the last year, that we have partnered with. And this is a gene replacement therapy. So it's looking at literally putting in a new copy of the FOXG1 gene, and we'll be testing that. So that's another huge area. And then there's another project that is going to be announced pretty soon, looking at regulating at the DNA level. So even though we know it's a longer term approach, it's important for us to focus on that as well. Sorry about that, guys.
That's okay. Yeah. So there's so many different things. I mean, so many times, Nasha or Ryan call me like, oh my God, I just had the most brilliant conversation. And the list of scientists that are on these Zoom calls with us is really mind blowing. I mean, and not to mention our science team. I mean, Jay and Sue Lee. I mean, we should just like run through our science team real quick, just if in case anyone doesn't know. It's on our website, but we're just so thrilled that.
Yeah. I mean, we had a call this morning with a pharmaceutical company and 2 different labs of ours, and we basically just spent an hour and a half diving into RNA therapies and different delivery mechanisms that could work for FOXG1 and how this company could help. And I mean, these are just amazing. We're a small disease. We have less than 1,000 children, and to have CEOs of companies willing to take their time to work with us and potentially also develop drugs for us is really exciting.
Yeah, and one consistent message we keep getting, which is great, is the amount of progress we've made in understanding this disease. With such a small population of patients, there's been very little research done into this disease. And so there's not a lot of published research, but when we come on with our scientific team that's really diving into this, these pharmaceutical companies are blown away about how much we know about this rare disease. There are other rare diseases that they don't understand the biology, or they don't understand the symptoms or how they come to be. And you can't fix a problem if you don't know the problem. And so it's been really consistent on these Zoom calls lately with some very high-powered entities that are saying, hey, we're impressed with what you're doing here. And that's a testament to the last few years of developing these models and funding all these great labs.
Yeah. And that said, that really brings up a great point of our natural history study that we're working on and why. So we've launched this Ciitizen digital platform natural history study, which is a groundbreaking, revolutionary new approach to natural history studies, because really we can get so much more data that's so much more comprehensive for any biotech or any pharmaceutical company that might want to develop a treatment for FOXG1. So there's so much I have to say about this, but really we're going to be years ahead of what it could have taken us to get to a treatment, because we're going to have all this data of our whole population. And really, so we're launching our second cohort for the natural history study. We launched our first cohort in January. We have 50 patients from the US that are part of the Ciitizen platform. And for anyone who doesn't know the Ciitizen platform, what it does is it's a really simple platform. I should really let Nasha talk more about this. See how I do. It's a simple platform that collects your medical records for you. So a parent would go in and consent, and then choose the hospitals where their children are seen. Ciitizen will go and collect all those records. You'll have them all in one easy place, so that for you, it makes managing care of your child so much easier, Because if you go to get a second opinion, you go to a new doctor, you move, you just log into your platform and share all that information with your new doctor. And as far as research, I mean, then any pharmaceutical company that is not going to work on your disease unless they have a really strong natural history study, they have all this information that Ciitizen then uses machine learning to give them the exact information that they need so that we find the right endpoints for clinical trials for our children, FOXG1 children, because there is not a single drug developed for children with FOXG1 syndrome. So we're opening, so it's just such an incredible opportunity. And one thing, another mom I was speaking to who's her disease group is part of the Ciitizen platform as well. And she said, we signed up our patients like that. So when their cohort opened, which ours is on May 12th, they had 50, the max, in 3 hours.
Yeah.
And what's so important about that I just have to have, every FOXG1 parent needs to know, this is why this is so important. Because if a pharmaceutical company is choosing, hey, which rare disease group are we going to invest millions of dollars in? Is it going to be X, Y, or Z, or FOXG1? Well, what they really want to know is if they choose FOXG1, that the community is available, willing, and there for them, that we're not going to make it hard for them. So if there's anything they ask of us that could be a measurable improvement for our children, we are not going to put any barriers in front of that. We are saying, we are here, we are working with you, we are the group you want to choose. Yep. So the cohort opens May 12th. If you're not part of the FOXG1 Research Parents Connect group, please do that. Please make sure we have your email. We're truly in this together. So
together. And, you know, many parents are like, what can I do? I don't have a lot of time. This is the one thing that is so valuable you could do, and it will take you 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
So yeah. It's a really, and the, you know, one of the, I think, I mean, I joined a Ciitizen to make sure FOXG1 could be involved in this project. And I can tell you that there's a wait list of over 50 other groups right now who cannot get in because they're the company's at capacity. So we're super lucky. And the beauty of this platform is that it's open, so everyone has access to it. You as a parent, researchers, academic researchers, biotechnology companies, and that's what we want. We want information de-identified on our children to be available for everyone so they can research FOXG1. And I can tell you that there's companies that are now looking into disorders, neurological disorders that are on the Ciitizen platform, only because there is this rich natural history data. It's really important. I mean, we're a rare disease, like companies don't even understand it. They don't want to get into a disease that there's so much unknown. So this is a big step in the right direction.
Yeah, so this is big. We'll definitely make sure we can communicate with everybody. And what else is new in our meeting? So we're bringing on a director of science, right?
So
yeah. So can we announce that yet?
We haven't announced it. We can't announce it quite yet.
Okay.
Sign, but we are so close to solidifying, and this is going to be our first professional director of science. I mean, so far it's been me, and let's just say I don't have a science background is an understatement. So we have someone, and that is going to take us now to level 2 and level 3, especially as our projects are getting to that point that now we are understanding FOXG1. So what do we do? What are the different drugs, et cetera? So that's big news that we have that.
Right.
And we will
translational.
Translational. And we're going to have some restructuring in our board, et cetera, because we're growing as a foundation. And a lot of it is because of an individual who is doing a match. And I don't want to steal your thunder, Nicole. Why don't you go ahead, or you and Ryan talk about this?
Well, I just rambled on so long about the natural history study. So Ryan, you take it away.
Yeah. So we recently had an individual approach the foundation with an extremely gracious pledge to match $1 million of donations. And so that's elevating our ability at the foundation to do such great things. And I'm curious, actually, your two's take, starting the foundation, under a fiscal sponsorship of another nonprofit organization, then getting your nonprofit status, and spending the last couple of years developing these models and getting such great labs under contract, fundraising in your own communities, donating your own funds to get this going. How does it feel to have something like this come across, and just that confidence in the organization to be successful? Nicole, maybe start with you.
Gosh, yeah. I mean, it was definitely, a pinch me moment. And it really, I mean, Nasha and I really, we talked about day one, we said like, we just want to do everything right so that anyone who comes in, if there is someone who's able to do $1 million match, that they trust, they could put their trust in us, that we've developed the asset so that we have everything that a biotech needs in order to move it forward, and that our research strategy is really sound. We wanted them to trust us, and every single dollar that we worked for to raise, has been work, we're so appreciative of it. And so it just brought us to the next level, and we're ready for that next level. So it's really like, I just sort of trust the timing of everything. We're so grateful for this donor who is now part of our foundation. And we're going to be sending out an email to introduce him and his family. We couldn't be more grateful for this sort of leadership and intelligence and experience in the work world. And, it really just made us feel so good about our team, everyone. Yeah.
Yep. And it is, we talk to foundations all the time, right? New parents who have just received their diagnosis of starting a foundation, they want advice. And it really, when things like this happen, you realize that if you just work hard every day, and it feels like you have a huge mountain to climb, but if you just do a little bit every day, then you get these massive milestones, and it lifts you up, and you realize that all the work I did, it's happening, it's working. And I think that's what we're feeling now. And it's awesome.
Yeah. We always feel like this pressure, we're not doing enough. But like every minute on the phone, everything we do is getting us closer. And the end goal is treatments for our kids, And Nasha, I really like what you said at the beginning about, let's talk about two things. A cure is a loaded word, and we're not trying to change children. FOXG1 children are incredible kids. I mean, they're joyful, they're beautiful, and we're not changing who they are. We're giving them the ability, we're hoping to give them the abilities that they deserve. So if it means less drool, if it means less seizures or no seizures, if it means less movement disorder, it's just the things that will make their lives and our lives much easier. That's the point of disease modifying therapies.
That is right. I mean, right now, all of the drugs we're giving our kids to control their seizures are actually hampering their overall development. I mean,
right.
There's a lot of things in this, and we all want our children to develop to their highest potential and have the lives they deserve. So that's our fundamental goal, and it's why we're spending our nights and weekends and anytime we have on this, because there is no higher goal.
Another thing in our board meeting recently and in our structural changes, so we have so many new volunteers. We're so excited. The door is open to anybody who wants to volunteer and help. Magdalena, who is on our board and is our Chile leader, is starting a global network where all the leads in all different regions will come together and on a Zoom call, at least once a month. So if you are in any region that doesn't have a global leader or wants to, reach out to us, Magdalena at FOXG1Research.org, or I'm Nicole at FOXG1Research.org. We launched FOXG1 Research Australia. So we put the structure in place for sister foundations to pop up all around the world.
Yep. And that's so super important, because we right now work with every FOXG1 international organization. We have one scientific advisory board. This is another reason why biotech companies like us is that we're organized. There's not fractions. We have one science board. All our international groups work together. So sometimes it takes longer to work together than just go on it yourself. But that is actually not what the industry likes. They like to see unity, and they like to see that we're all getting along. And I think we're doing a great job at that, honestly.
Yeah, community matters in a huge way. Yeah. So again, on the $1 million match, so it is, any donations now are being matched dollar for dollar up to $1 million, which is incredible. We're already seeing a huge outpour of support just from personal outreach from our donor to his network. So we'll be sending more about that. Please make sure to follow us on all social media, FOXG1 Research Parents Connect. We just started a FOXG1 Research Parents Connect in Espanol and Portuguese. And we're looking for parents in each language to run that as well, so it could all mirror each other. We had some FOXG1 in the news this past couple of weeks. Crosby made the news.
Yep, Crosby made the news. He's a superstar now. Everyone's asking for his no. We were on the paparazzi's all over. No, we did there was a feature on our local news here in Northern California, and trying to spread awareness of what we're doing here, which is very well received, and driving traffic to the cause. So we're super excited about continuing to do that.
Right. Yeah, and the video that you guys did with Crosby is so beautiful. So we have a YouTube channel, FOXG1 Research Foundation YouTube channel, where all our wonderful videos live. There was also news with Sue and Jay in the local Buffalo news. It's an incredible story about Sue and Jay Lee. So check out the news page on our website as well. And what else can we tell you? I think that's it for now. We're going to keep trying to do this. We want to bring you in. We want to, hear from you. So please reach out to us with any thoughts, questions. All our emails are our first name at fox1research.org. And thanks for listening to us.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.